It's time for another exciting live interview, this time with Raw Chef Yin, going into ways to improve your raw food business. And it's going to be a really fun topic. We've gone into this in previous times, ways to improve, grow your raw food business. We've gone into this in times, but new stuff's always popping up, and Raw Chef Yin is one of the most inspiring people out there, creating really professional courses and information and putting it out consistently. I see Raw Chef Yin's here already. We're going to invite her in. We're both excited to be sharing this as a part of the Ultimate Raw Vegan Bundle. We both have our brand new resources in there. I got my Raw Truths book, and Raw Chef Yin has her Chinese takeout mini course, a whole bunch of amazing recipes, video as well as book, written recipes, stuff like that. It's really, really amazing. So we're going to invite her in and go right into this. See how I invite. Oh, no requests. So once the in requests, we'll add her in. Oh, maybe I can click that. Let's see. There we go. It can help you grow your raw food business and find ways to share more effectively. Hey, Yin, how you doing?
Oh, good. It works.
It works,
I
yeah. I forgot about that the ad, 'cause it can be either way, and yeah. Here we are.
I kind of forgot it as well, and
Yeah.
then I was like, oh, I think I'm supposed to request.
It's, I'm so used to that I forgot that there was a way for me to request you, so I got all confused and flustered, and it was really embarrassing. I'm slowly recovering right now. I'm almost there. Okay, wait. Now I'm good. Now we're here and present, and it's good.
Yeah, I think I've been like too excited about the bundle that I my sleep routines are all like I woke up like 1 in the morning this
Oh no.
morning, and then yeah, and then I couldn't go back to sleep until like 4:30, and then I think I finally slept. I did some sleep meditations and all that, and then I woke up just before 7. Then I was trying to take a nap at 4, but I or 3ish, 3:34, and then I was just like lying there and I couldn't sleep.
It's like Christmas Day, right? It's just like every day Christmas Day during the bundle.
Yeah, so yeah, that's why I had this like like, oh wait, I'm supposed to request.
It's all good. I'll admit I'm a little tired. I mean, we're only on day 3, but the last 2 nights I haven't had the best sleeps either. So, but here
Yeah,
here we are. Here we
it,
are. How's everything going so far, though?
it's
You
good
having
to
a fun
see
time?
you.
Yeah.
Oh, I made Lisa's soup today. She has a tomato soup, like a Bombay. I think it's a Bombay glazed tomato soup in Make It Raw
Yeah.
4. And that was really
This
nice.
is
And
super good.
then yeah, I really like it. It's nice and thick and sweet. And then just now I just made Lena's raw tomato bread, because Lena has a you get 1 year access to her Nourish platform, and there's like videos on workouts, which I haven't done any.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then there's like informational stuff, and then there's the recipes. And I was like, oh, my boyfriend loves to eat bread, so I was like, oh, okay. And it was quite a simple recipe as well. It wasn't that many ingredients, and it's not
Yeah.
complicated. So I thought I'll make that. It's just been dehydrating for an hour, but it's looking nice. So yeah.
See, this is what I'm talking about. You inspire me so much because, not only are you doing all these lives and stuff, but you're making food from all the resources throughout and before. And I'll be honest, I find it incredibly hard even to make one recipe during the bundle. I just default to like my easiest, quickest recipes, and I get out of my kitchen as fast as I can. But
But that's because you do like 30, what? How many lives in a week or
I'm
something?
I'm doing
31?
30,
30.
I think there's around 30 lives in the
Yeah.
11-day period. And I am also the customer support. So I am behind the
Yeah.
scenes doing stuff like that. But I don't want to make excuses. I know I could find time, and you're making time all the time. And it's really inspiring. And I think it's also helped you grow your raw food business a ton because you're consistent, and you're always doing stuff, and you're sharing really fun, informational, and recipe-based things.
Yeah. I think consistency is the key
Yeah.
actually. Now that I think
Yeah.
about it and look at it. Yeah, because just showing up every day and doing the work.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Speaking of recipes and stuff, though, your recipe course, your mini course in there, the Chinese takeout looks amazing. And speaking of soups, your hot and sour soup just looks ridiculous as well. That looks so good.
Oh, I really make that one because you know we usually like for Chinese weddings over here in
Yeah.
Malaysia, they always have that hot and sour soup. So
Yeah.
when I tested it a few times and then ours was like, wow, this is like tastes legit. And I was like, I know, right? So I was really happy about
I
that.
gotta
Yeah.
try that out, and my mission is to try at least one of your recipes during the bundle. I'm full upfront admitting my mental challenges during the bundle, but I really want to do it, and I plan to. I don't know if it's going to be the General Tso or if it's going to be the soup. It's going to depend a little bit on ingredients because I
Yeah.
know one has lion's mane, and I
Yeah.
haven't found that yet. But everything looks really darn amazing. Is this one of the mini courses that you've been most excited to make? Does it kind of come closer to home even, or I guess you have a lot of other recipes from the past as well, though.
I have every year I get excited.
Yeah, yeah,
I think it's interesting. I think the conception of it when you go like, ooh, let me come up with this because that's the part when I'm like really excited and I'm doing the research and then you start making it and then when the recipes fail, then there's
yeah.
do you know that like the general and I can't remember whether is it pronounced as General So, General Sao, because I actually watched a documentary that said In Search of General So. So I think they pronounce it as so, but some people said Zhao as well, and they had the Chinese pronunciation as well. But my Chinese is really bad,
Oh,
so
I think it's better than mine. And anything I what's it called? Any way I say anything, even English, I wouldn't necessarily put it as a high source of pronunciation. My pronunciation is bad even in English, so if I'm mispronouncing it, I apologize.
yeah. So do you know? I think I was working on that recipe since October last year. I mean, I did a few iterations, and then because I was trying to make the chicken bits, right? So I was trying to make it like a chicken nugget. And I was using different things. I think first I was using mushrooms and zucchini. Then I didn't like it. Then I used oat, yeah, like sprouted oats and something else. I didn't quite like it. And then it was very hard to get fresh lion's mane mushroom.
Mhm.
I only know one place, but it's super expensive for like 100 grams is like it was just like way too expensive for
Mhm.
like very light. And then I finally found the dried ones,
Mhm.
which take a bit of prep because you need to like soak it and squeeze it and soak it and rinse it and all that.
Mhm.
You can't just use it immediately, but yeah, that worked very well.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it was kind of like I think the day before the bundle began, then I already had the sauce down.
Yeah.
The sauce I was like really happy with it already, but I wasn't like I was like, how do I wanted to replicate that chicken thing,
Yeah.
right? But I couldn't do it. I know you have a similar recipe, but yours is kind of like a combination, right? Because yours is like General Crisp and then it's also orange, so it's like. Is
Yeah.
it a combination of like orange chicken and General Tso's chicken
Yeah,
or
I guess
something?
it kind of came more from like a fast food chain in the States that had something called that's what it reminded me of, but they still called
Right.
it that name even though it's probably not super traditional. But
Yeah.
most of my food is fusion for sure, and
Yeah.
a little bit loosely connected to from my experiences with them.
Yeah. I remember because I made that and that was really nice as well. I remember
Is
that.
it tasty?
Yeah.
It's a tasty one. Yeah, it was kind of an orange-based curry, and
Yes.
it just really came because I was out of tomatoes, and I was like, what am I going to use for my sauce? And oh, I got oranges. Let's make an orange. I'm like, oh my gosh, orange curry is
Ah,
delicious. And then just trying to
okay.
relate it as close as I could to a recipe I'd had way back in the past and research and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But it's
Yeah.
so fun,
So,
right? It's so fun exploring and trying new things and coming up with new recipes. And I totally get what you're saying. Like when you come up with a theme, like oh,
yeah.
okay, Chinese takeout, and then the ideas start flourishing. And I mean, Chinese takeout, what a perfect raw food course too, though, because like I think so many people love Chinese takeout, but it's one of those things almost like French cuisine that would be like, how could I create that raw? Like a lot of
Mm,
that would be really
mm.
challenging for most people to create raw. So it's amazing that you came together with it and make it authentic and really, really delicious.
Yeah. And I remember I used to really, when I used to travel to the US, I actually really enjoyed the Chinese takeout there because it
Yeah.
reminded me on one okay, so it was familiar enough to be like it tastes like flavors of home because there's like so much rice and there's all this ginger and soy sauce and garlic, you know, and all that. But then again, sometimes it was a bit like, oh, this doesn't,
Doesn't
it
taste like
doesn't,
it.
yeah. But I as I was doing more and more research, there was this other book by this author that also wrote about it, and it's interesting because like I think the older Chinese generation a lot of them kind of look down on like American Chinese food or Chinese American food because they said it's not authentic. But the younger ones, because they grew up with that, they feel like it deserves a part in the cuisine, you know, and it's kind of like a subset of the cuisine on its own. And yeah, I thought it was just like super interesting because I was doing like I was doing a lot of research and also just like background research, informational research, and also testing out the recipes, and also just learning about more of the history of the Chinese in America.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah, I've
yeah,
often heard in popular culture and in movies and stuff like that, I've heard people say that the best Chinese food is in New York. Is that that's what I've heard that multiple times. Did that come
is it
across in your research or no?
is that in New York Chinatown?
Yeah, in New York Chinatown.
Oh, New York Chinatown is amazing.
Yeah.
Uh, yes. Yeah, you can get every single Chinese thing that ingredient that you want in New York Chinatown.
Mhm.
That's kind of true. Yeah, yeah. I
I've
love
I've
going there.
I've
Yeah.
mostly
And it,
just gotten durian there because there's some fresh durian from different places and but I've been to a bunch of stores around there and it's a really amazing place
yes.
in Chinatown, New York.
Yes, I remember going in. I was like, I'm like, oh my God, they have this and they have this and they have this and they have this.
Yeah.
And they have, like all the ferments, all the sauces, everything, all the beans,
Mhm.
I remember, what I know. I'm trying to remember, but oh, the other thing that was interesting. I mean, like it's totally off tangent. That there used to be all vegan grocer in like also like around New York Chinatown area at Canal Street as well.
Mhm.
Yeah,
I
So
really love New York. I miss going there every year for the Woodstock Fruit Festival. It used to
ah
be the main place we'd go, but
yeah,
it's been years since I've been there.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Watermelon Lime is saying someday Mr. Jazz guitarist needs to make a vegan joke book for the bundle.
I wonder whether he would do a book on poetry
Yeah.
actually. Like he started writing he started writing poetry, but then it's not in English.
Yeah.
It's in it's in Malay. So
Mhm.
I'm trying to remember whether he wrote, but he has written stuff in English actually, but it's not like very vegan
Mhm.
related. But I know he did write one poem that was related to veganism.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah. Well,
yeah.
technically he's kind of a part of the bundle because I know he's been a big help for you in learning and teaching how to create courses and stuff like that. Hey?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's like Mr. Technology actually. I I'm not very good at the technology bit. I still have to like
So
he's
he's
still
your secret weapon on how to grow your raw food business. Should we be interviewing him?
he's actually performing at a jazz show right now. So
Oh, no way.
oh, but I think he might be like in his I think he just performed and I just told him I was going live with you, so he said he might pop on. But you know what? I can't see any of the comments
No.
and I
Watermelon
can't
Lime
see any
said
people
some cat
joining.
poetry. Yeah, it's really funny. Sometimes it works and sometimes the comments don't show for the guest.
Yes. So Us actually wrote a poem about Lisa and Nate's two black cats.
Oh.
Because when we went to visit them the cats really loved us and they came to him and he like he woke up and they were like on top of him and all that. So he was so happy that he actually like wrote a poem about the cats, and then he read it in
Mhm.
in Lisa and Nate's place. And then recent sometime I think last year in October, he was also doing a recital of his, just a very short recital of his poetry, and he read that as well at the, it's called Readings.
Oh,
Yeah, the event is called Readings, where like authors and all that, they read their either their, like, you know, I mean, their writings. So it could be a novel, it could be a poem, it could be
yeah.
I've actually read from my cookbook as well,
Oh, no way. Just
there as
kind of
well.
like what is that called when you like spoken word, not
Spoken
spoken word.
word.
Yeah, spoken
Yeah,
word.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Kind of, yeah, because Us was playing on the guitar and I was reading from my cookbook.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's cool. That sounds a lot of fun. Those are kind of
Yeah.
fun events to go to mix and mingle and share, unique ideas and yeah, just be able to share
Yeah.
yourself.
And I made like raw vegan snacks and brought it along to show people. Yeah, and people really loved it. They really enjoyed it. I made water kefir as well. So
Mm.
yeah,
That's
yeah.
so cool.
Fun way to introduce people to raw food, actually. Very
Yeah. Well, I
fun
mean,
and very friendly way. Yeah.
that's right in with topic, a way to grow your raw food business, right? To be out there in the mix and sharing and whether it's sharing food or just sharing information in places and venues that encourage and allow that. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, and we've done a lot of talks on this on like the technology side of, raw food business and stuff like that. But I'm curious, 'cause it's been a year since we really talked about that. Has any
Yeah.
new stuff kind of popped up that you've been really excited about that you felt has been helpful to, connect with more people or to be able to share more efficiently or effectively or create more efficiently or effectively?
Um, well, I don't know whether this is so much of creating more effectively, but like maybe community building uh okay, basically what I wanted to say was the raw food worldwide meetups that Jamie
Yeah.
Love
Yep.
started. So yeah, I hosted 4 of the meetups last year,
Hmm.
because she set dates for every quarter, and yeah, I decided to host it. You know what's really funny? I always end up doing things kind of reluctantly
Kind of which
because
I missed that kind of which you said?
uh
Oh,
reluctantly
yes. Yeah.
because when she first announced it, right, and I know you hosted the meetup as well,
Yes.
so when in your city, so when she first announced it, I was like, oh, this is really interesting, maybe I'll do it, I might not. So I just told her like, oh, this is interesting, I might want to consider hosting it.
Mhm.
And she just made a poster anyway, and then
Like,
she
oh,
just sent
I
it
guess I'm
to me.
committed now.
Because I said like, oh, I'm actually traveling right now, so I'm not sure yet. Let me get back from my travel. And she just made a poster, and then I was like, yeah. You're right. I'm just like, I guess I'm doing this.
Yeah, yeah. Well, sometimes it takes someone else starting a fire under you to get to do something, right?
Yeah, and that has been really fun. And I hosted one this year as well. Um, it takes a lot of energy, and I've just been like trying to explore different ways of doing it. Like
Mhm.
the first one I did it, I worked with a restaurant that made like 2 of my recipes.
Cool.
But then we were like, oh, we don't know how many people are turning up, and things
Yeah,
like that. So I feel really bad if they prepare too much and then um yeah, not enough people turn up, right? Or what if they prepare like not enough and things like that.
yeah,
Yeah, but they were really, really nice. They were like, it's okay, we'll just prepare the like 8 sets or something like that, and then if people come, and if not, they'll eat it.
yeah.
So yeah, and then the next round I did was I think I did a potluck,
Hmm.
so that was a lot of fun.
Hmm.
I think the next 2 rounds I did potluck.
Yeah, those are a little
One in
easier, right? When everyone just brings their own dish, then you're not responsible for everyone at once.
Yeah. Yeah, but then I realized like most people are like, I don't know how to make raw food because because there are very few raw vegans in the city that I live in. I guess all over the world actually.
Yeah, yeah.
So
We are spread out.
yeah, so I just keep telling them like just bring some fruit if it's you don't know what to bring, and then I just make more, right? I make cheese
Mm.
and and there's always some bundle going on during that time.
Yeah.
So I'm always making something from the bundle. So it was really nice to meet with people. There was a picnic, but the thing is, in Malaysia, the weather is so unpredictable.
Yeah.
So like what if it rains? Where are we gonna go, right? So the
Yeah.
next one I did it at all vegan restaurant. Yeah, and they were really nice. They pretty much opened up the space for us, even though they were supposed to be closed on Sundays. They were like, "Oh no, it's okay. You can have your private little party kind of thing."
Yeah. So
Yeah.
how did you get that started? Did you just go talk to them, or like how did you
Well,
make it so you were
because
able to do that?
yeah, I have been see they were one of the very first vegan restaurants that opened like seven fully vegan restaurants that opened like 7 8 years back in KL, and um they're actually not too far away from where I live, like a 20-minute drive. So we would go there very regularly.
Mhm.
And the founder, Fauzi, he's also all about community. You see, he understands and he sees like this is needed in the community in Malaysia. So he's always like, if you want to do anything, there's always a space for you here. And he doesn't charge me rent. He's so sweet,
Oh, that's
He's like,
super helpful.
come, please come and do something here as long as we have activity going on. Because he has the restaurant that's downstairs and there's also upstairs. So if nobody's coming in the upstairs, he said we can just use the upstairs, you see, that area. So I've done a workshop there. So it's not like I've done a few things there before as well.
Yeah.
And then during the pandemic, we just kept ordering from them and all that just to support the business so that they can continue going. So I think it works two ways. You see,
For
I
sure.
think we all need to support each other. I think that's the other thing in the raw food business, right? We don't look at each other as um, uh, competition.
I
Yeah,
can't
we look at
believe
each.
you put out the Chinese course because I wanted to do the Chinese takeout. Now I can't. Oh, Yin. My
What did we
General
call her?
Tso's versus yours.
Oh, we should have a showdown actually. Yeah, my
I th- I think you win. I think I bow to the master. I think you win.
by default.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, it's all about cooperation and collaboration, you see. So
Yeah.
so yeah, so I did that, and then I was trying out another format. I was like, oh, why don't I do a demo? Because people, it seemed like people were very afraid of making, as Asians, they're always very afraid of doing things and being scolded for doing something wrong. I don't know whether you notice or not.
Mm-hmm.
We're not so like, we'll go out there, we'll try things, and it's okay because it's like we're even like, people, like you go to an event, and if people ask a question in Malaysia, people don't want to raise their hands and give an answer because they're so afraid of giving the wrong answer and being laughed at. So I think it's the same thing. People are so afraid of like making a raw dish, and then it's not the correct raw dish, or it's not raw or something
Yeah.
like that. So I thought like, okay, you know what? Why don't I do a demo instead? So it's easier. People are less stressed. They can come for the demo and learn how to make it. But then I realized like doing the demo is like so much work,
Prep
way more
and
work than
prep
doing
and buying and and getting the space and yeah.
yeah. Yeah, I found a space as well. But then again, I'm like, oh, I'm bored of my other recipes, so I wanted to come up with a new recipe, right? And then I had to go and test and develop new recipes.
Yeah. Yeah.
But now I have new cracker recipes and new Nutella, however you pronounce it, recipe. So that's good. So yeah, and then what did I do? And then I just did another potluck this year. I was like, okay, I think it's fun and easy to do the potluck thing, but this time I got sunburned.
Oh no. Oh, you're sitting in one side of the sun the whole time.
I think because no, what happened was it was only supposed to be until 12, but someone came late. She came at
Mm.
11:45, and then we were still sitting there and everyone's talking, and then we kind of were like, you're so caught up, and then it's only much later you're like, oh, I think it's way too hot, we should go.
Mm.
And it's only like the next day I was like, oh my god, it's so super dark here. I was like pretty much burnt. And then I had to ask Chef Val, Macro Val, I'm like, what should I do with this? What can I put on it? Then she told me to put vinegar.
Oh,
So
did that help?
yeah, it did help the
Yeah.
pain because the night before I was in so much pain. The next day I put vinegar and the pain subsided. I could sleep. So
Wow, that's
yeah.
so cool. Because I've never heard that. Because like my rational mind would think that the vinegar would dry your skin and it would hurt more. Because like a lot of times people put coconut oil on top, but that's really neat.
Yeah, I thought it would dry up my skin too, but it didn't. I put raw vegan apple cider raw apple cider vinegar.
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, that's super cool. Was
Yeah.
that last summer or was that already this year?
This was sometime this year, I think in March. Was it March
Yeah,
or something like that? Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Must
The
be nice
next
having good sun in March, I tell you. I wish I could get sunburnt in March, Ian.
I know. I always tell people like this Malaysia is like the best. Well, I mean, like it's like one of the best cities in the world to go raw because
Mm,
that it's so much tropical food. You and we get so much rain, so everything's so fresh, you know. Yeah, so you have like fruit all year round. And it's not cold, so you don't like yeah, you don't go have to go through cold winters and go like I want my warm food and all that. You don't like
yeah.
yeah. Everything like eaten at room temperature is fine, you know, it's not like cold.
Why did I
So
pick
yeah.
Sweden? Why did I pick? No, I'm just joking. I do love it here. I do love
You
it here.
seem you seem to be having a great time in Sweden.
Yeah,
I love watching your grocery hauls when you go on the weekend on your bike and then
yeah.
like, you know, pick up all your stuff and then you get great deals on everything.
It's a
Yeah.
really nice spot out here too. I mean, the weather isn't super ideal in the winter, but it's still generally above zero, and produce is good, and community is good, and good friends, and amazing skateboarding. So I feel very blessed. But I would love to soak up some Malaysia, and I've been craving tropics a bit because I haven't actually been to the tropics since 2019 or 20, one or the other. So it's been a little while,
Right,
and I'm
right.
used to like 2 or 3 months in the tropics almost every single winter. So
Mm, okay. Yeah, then yes.
yeah,
Yeah, I just contacted the usual durian person that I order from every year. One of the I think are they biodynamic? I think they're biodynamic durians. I said like,
dang.
are you doing? They're in Penang, but I said, are you delivering into KL this year? They said, yeah, end of May,
Ooh,
they'll be delivering. So I was like, yes, please let me know.
ooh. So yeah, it is that is that magic time where because I can get pretty good fresh durian out here, and it gets more abundant usually around June, July, uh, around that time loosely, but it's pretty expensive. I mean, in rough US dollars, how much would a durian be for you out there?
Um, um, okay, US dollars. Oh, I need to calculate. Uh, it's anywhere between well, like in a kilo.
Hmm.
And it fluctuates, right? I mean, I've seen like as low as like 30, 35 ringgit a kilo. That means it's less than if you divide and you need divide by four, about 4.2.
Hmm.
But I've seen like like the Musang King, it goes up to I think in season I've seen it at like 40, 45, 50. But I've also ringgit a kilo. That means about 10 US dollars a kilo. But I've also seen it go up to like 20 US dollars a kilo or
Okay.
more, or like 90 to 100 ringgit a kilo. Yeah.
Okay.
And a kilo is, I mean, like the durian is usually at least 1.5 to 2
Yeah.
kilos. One
That's
one
pretty darn
durian.
good though, because like
Yeah.
I mean out here usually the durian is around somewhere around like $30 a kilo. So like I'll spend anywhere from $50 to $80 for a durian. And I remember one
Yeah.
time in New York actually going to Chinatown and getting Malaysian durian, and I think it cost me like $80 or $90, and it was a very small one, but it was the
Well,
first time I'd ever tried it at that time. This was probably
right.
10 years ago, but yeah, it's a blessing to be closer to them and get a little bit better deals.
Yeah. Or if you actually like, I mean, I know some people actually like, yeah, they go to the farms or they actually stay on the durian farms and all that.
Yeah.
I haven't actually stayed on a durian farm though. I was like half thinking about it, but it still seems quite expensive to stay. So,
Yeah, I've
um,
heard that there is a bit of a durian war and the prices are artificially raised, which is unfortunate. But
yeah.
yeah. But Separate
Yeah.
from that, going back into the fun topic we have here today, I'm wondering because I know
Yeah.
your journey and the way that you have learned how to grow your business has evolved over the time.
Yeah.
If somebody was new, they're just like they're super excited, they're having a fun time, they've applied the raw food for a while, and they're like, I want to
Hmm.
try and make a business out of this. What would
Yeah.
you say would be maybe a top couple, like one or two tips you think for really starting out and
Yeah.
making it a go?
Yeah. I think they should start small, take baby steps.
Yeah.
Because you don't know what works. I think it's, yeah, do little things and then see how that works, how the market responds, how people respond to you. And I think you have to keep tweaking as well.
Yeah.
Because yeah, when I first started also, it's like at least like and I think I've shared this with you before. I mean, like now I'm known as the Asian, the person who makes all the cool Asian food. But
Mhm.
before that, when I first started, that was exactly what I wanted to do. But for the first like 5 years, no one in Malaysia wanted to
They're not interested.
was
Yeah.
interested
Mhm.
because they wanted more of the Western recipes.
Mhm.
It's only when yeah, when the lockdown began, and then I started gaining more followers from, yeah, the US, from Europe, and also like just the participation in all these bundles. It's helped a lot. Yeah, so I
So
was just
happy
like,
to hear that. So happy to hear that. Because you bring so much to the bundle, and as I said, you really inspire me, and I know a lot of people too. So I'm so happy to
oh,
feel in here that it's not only fun, but it helps you as well.
it does. It does. In fact, I was just telling Lisa today, like at the end of the live I did with her today, because today I woke up and I thought about it and I thought like, wow, I woke up this morning feeling like super grateful
Mhm.
to be in this Ultimate Raw Vegan Bundle again. Be able to participate in this because I've made so many friends.
Mhm.
I've learned so much. I think I really learned, like, I learned so much about making oil-free food, because before that I only knew how to make food with oil,
Mhm.
and I learned so much about making low-fat oil-free food. Yeah, because I think omitting the oil is one thing, but
Mhm.
keeping it low fat and still making it delicious, that's another thing as
It's a
well. Because
challenge sometimes.
yeah, yeah,
I mean, I can
I still
imagine,
don't.
especially with like Chinese takeout, because it's classically kind of a little bit oily or kind of that texture, right?
Yeah, yeah. So I use tahini to replace all the sesame oil. I use tahini instead. Yeah. And then I think, to instead of the Chinese cooking wine, I use the apple cider vinegar. But the other things I could keep to it, and I'm glad, like a lot of things ours is just like, wow, this is really Chinese. I
Hmm.
was like, yes, yes.
Hmm.
Yeah, so and I think I always emphasize about education. I mean, like when I first started, I did take not only did I take courses on how to make raw vegan food, right? The culinary aspect of it. I also took this course from Karen Noller on it
Yeah.
was the raw food teacher training course.
Yep.
And that gave me a really good foundation, because that taught you everything, how to develop your business plan, how to do your budgeting, how to do your costing, how to do marketing. I mean, oh, actually, there's so much to do.
Mm.
I almost want to say, like, don't do it unless you're really passionate and this is the thing that you really believe in. But
Yeah,
if not,
I mean, there's so many ways to do it, but I often kind of think like if one of your main aims is money, then it's probably not the absolute best. Like people can make a lot of money, of course, but at the same time, it's probably not the best first reason to do it. Being really passionate about it and
yeah,
being excited to share and knowing that you'll probably put more time in to make a little less than people who just have a regular job, at least for most people, and especially in the beginning, like for
yeah,
example, for you, like you've created a lot of courses, which of course, the more you put in and the more time you put in, and then the more exposure and audience you get, that slowly steamrolls and just gets bigger and creates its own automated kind of machine almost, right?
yeah.
But in the beginning, it takes a lot of time, energy, and effort just to get a couple little things rolling.
Yeah, yeah, it does. And even now, sometimes sometimes I look at do you know Sarah Tessero?
I don't
She's
don't
known
recognize.
as she's known as Better Food Guru
Okay.
on Instagram. She has like 1.4
Dang.
million followers or something. She does vegan. She worked as a professional chef for 30 years, and then after that she went into content creation, and she's doing very well as well. And I always look at her Instagram stories, and not Instagram, her Instagram reels, and it's so well done, and the
Yeah.
script is so nice, and it's so well edited, and her, you know, her food always looks so good, and she always gives out all the recipes, and I'm just like, oh, I can never do a reel so as good as that.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
like, how many hours does she put in to do it, you know?
Or maybe
Yeah.
she hires it out. Who knows?
No,
You never know.
I
Sometimes people do.
I asked
Oh,
her
you asked her?
because when I first saw, yeah, I said like, I really like your reels. Do you do it all your own, or do you get someone to do it for you? And she said she does it on her own.
Wow, that's awesome.
And there was one time she put like behind the scenes, she showed how she put the camera and she does the filming and all that. I was like, wow. And I said like, you post every day. I'm like, and you have 3 kids. Like,
Wow.
I mean, seriously, I don't know how people do it when they have kids and all that. I mean, like, I have no kids, and I'm like, just like, I'm either spending my time in the kitchen, or I'm spending my time in front of the computer. So
Yeah. No, I can relate to that too, because I have a pretty free lifestyle, but I'm always amazed, by anyone putting out stuff really
yeah,
consistently, and it's an amazing thing. But I mean, that's really what it takes, right? If you really want to grow, then it takes that consistency and that dedication and
yeah,
that experimentation and effort and trying different things, and at
yeah,
the very least, long-term consistency is
yeah.
I think that's the one thing I got on my back is long-term general consistency, but I've gotten a little bit lazy with social media lately.
It's okay though. I don't feel like you should be living your life. I mean, that I think I think like I think you have like a very it seems from social media you have a very balanced life, right? Because you know you're you do your
Fitness?
it's called
Skateboarding?
skateboarding, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you do
Yeah.
your skateboarding, you have
Yeah.
your social thing, and then you have your
Mhm.
cats,
Mhm.
and then you have Camellia. See,
Camilla.
I told you I'm like my brain is like Camellia, right?
Camilla. Yeah.
Camilla.
Yeah.
You have your girlfriend, and then you go and do all your grocery shopping, and then yeah. So I think it's quite balanced. I mean, like I try to we try to go to the park like 3 times a week, and we just to like hug trees and sit on the ground and eat our breakfast and all that. And recently what I've started doing is, in fact, I started packing lunch as well. So we go to the park, we do our exercises, then we have our breakfast, and then after that, and then we're sitting at the park like maybe like editing videos and all that, and then we have lunch, and then we go home, and then we work again. But yeah, so just try to have
Have that
a
balance.
yeah, have
It's so
that balance
important,
as
right?
well.
I think
Mm,
it's not too uncommon for people that, make a business out of raw food and lifestyle at some points to not have that balance and burn out, and then like, need a break almost. And I've definitely been there a few times, and that's why now I put
yeah,
so much attention to balance. Although I'll be honest, I feel like it's swayed a little bit to comfort, and I could be a little bit more a little more consistent, but all in its time and place, right? I mean, when you're
yeah.
looking at the bigger picture, you're looking at the bigger picture.
Yeah, because sometimes I think like we humans, we kind of work a bit too hard, right? Because you look at all the the rest of the animals, like your cats are all like chilling
Yeah.
and snoozing and
Yeah.
sleeping, and they're just eating and sleeping and looking out of the windows and having fun and staring and ignoring us and things like that. But yeah, so sometimes I'm like, wow, we humans like we're just like so why are we working like so hard when there's it feels like there's so much abundance in the world sometimes, and yet because like in Malaysia, right, like where I live, the condominium where I live, there's just like banana trees growing.
Nice.
No one plants it, it's just growing there, but I don't have a big enough knife to cut them
Yeah.
down because I've seen them. Yeah, so sometimes the workers, they just cut it and they take it for themselves. And then there's another tree that has like the we call it it like jambu aye over here. I don't know what you
Yeah.
call it.
Jepata cotta, they look like the tree grapes? No.
It's like it's not a guava. It's the pink one, like the water. Do they call it like? Oh, I think do they
Dragon
call it
fruit?
rose apple?
Oh,
Rose
rose apple.
apple.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And like
So
a
there's
teardrop
actually
shape, really
yes.
white on the inside, red, thin skin.
Correct,
Yeah.
correct. So there's actually yeah a tree in the compound and yeah when it's season right it's like there's so much. There's one time I just went there and like collected everything and put it in my bag and then made it into kimchi. But
Hmm.
the thing is they drop before they turn totally red, so
Yeah.
it's not super ripe. So I didn't really like it. So this time I was wondering like this season I was like, oh should I collect it and make more kimchi? And like maybe not because I didn't I mean I didn't like really like that yeah
Yeah.
that kimchi that
There's
I made. It was okay, but not yeah.
I've had those a few times, not in kimchi, but just
Yeah,
fresh, and they're very mild flavored too. Like such a mild flavored
yeah,
fruit. Just, I mean,
yeah,
it's a fitting name, the rose apple. It is almost like rose water with a hint of apple.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. But it just feels like yeah. And then there's like jackfruit growing, but the jackfruit is always it's kind of stunted because it like I think nobody takes care of it. So after a while, it just drops. So it doesn't grow to the full size where you can actually eat the jackfruit. But it's just
Mhm.
that there's so much abundance in it, and we're like in the cities and
Mhm.
stuck in all these buildings and
Mhm.
not taking full advantage of the yeah the
Mhm.
fruit abundance around us. That's all. Sometimes it feels that
Well,
way.
it sounds like it's abundant enough that yeah, you don't need to be focusing on those little things because you can get it so many other places as well.
That is true.
Yeah.
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 With growing a raw food business, would you say kind of like what we were talking about before
Mm.
with the balance? Do you think that's a really important aspect to kind of like consider balance and longevity rather than, you know, being in the trenches 10 hours a day every single day?
I would think so because I mean if you want to be in it for the long term because
Yeah.
yeah I remember you told me you were feeling you were burnt out at one time because I remember you said that you worked for yeah you
Lots
took
all the time.
very little holidays off yeah
Yeah.
and I remember during the lockdown that was what I was doing as well was because there was nowhere to go and we couldn't go anywhere so I was just like working. Then yeah, eventually I was just like so burnt out.
Yeah.
So yeah, then I took a break. But like you said, I think now I'm just like, oh, I want to create this course, but now I'm like, oh, you see, I used to be churning out courses every month, but
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
last
That's
year I think I
amazing.
just did two. This year I only did one.
Yeah. But I mean, how many courses total do you have now?
28.
28. That's amazing. So yeah, I mean, obviously we're here promoting the bundle and we recommend everyone
Yeah.
grab the bundle through either of our links, but also, I mean, once you've tried out the bundle, you've checked out Ian's Chinese takeaway course, you're going to want to check her out and check out all of her other courses because everything is top notch and really inventive and really authentic as well. Because I know, we talk pad thai and there is a tendency to fusion things and make esque, pad thai esque. But if you want more authentic, really well researched and developed, then I highly recommend checking out all your
Oh,
stuff.
thank you. Thank you so much for that. Yeah, I actually like your myths book, although you did say that you were actually you wanted to come up with a mini course, right? But then you had to switch to
Yeah,
the
yeah,
ebook instead.
it was a little
Uh,
challenging, I'll admit, because I've been planning the course for a long time, and I won't say that I put like months of actual on the computer work, but I put quite a bit of time and energy into making the course. But it became apparent just under a month ago that it was just there was some tech that I required that just it wasn't going to be
mm,
done, and it was completely outside of my control. It was actually with a company on one of the widgets I use on my website that it's just they
right.
didn't have the capacity, so I needed to scramble and last minute change. But luckily, the 10 myths that I have
Mm,
in my book, they're myths that I mean obviously I've been aware of and been thinking about and actually planning
yeah.
videos about for years. But
Mm,
I'm good at procrastination too. So those videos, I mean, mucoid plaque, the first big one,
yeah.
I'd been thinking and researching that for over 20 years, but planning on making it for over three, and it finally just came out. So now at least all of these myths are out, and then I'll stream videos eventually about them more too.
Yeah, I think it's really good because like um I think it's good to be all documented in one document because I've seen
Yeah.
you writing about all this in blog posts and I've heard you talk about it before in your lives and all that. But now that it's actually in a document, then it can be referenced as well, you see. So
Yeah.
yeah, thanks for putting that together. Yeah.
I'll admit, Yin, there was a moment where I had to come with the thought, what if I don't make anything for the Ultimate Raw Vegan Bundle? And I'm a co-creator, and I was like, like on April 1st it's kind of funny actually. On April 1st, I wrote Lissa and I said, I'm so sorry, but like I'm not able to finish my course. There's a tech issue. At that time there wasn't though. I'm like, there's a tech issue, and I'm not going to be able to make a new book for the course. I'm just so sorry. And she's like, "Oh no, but what about this?" And I'm like, "April Fools! Of course I'll get something done." But then, like just around a week later, when I actually found out, I wrote my tech like, "Is this going to be done?" He's like, "You know what? I'm sorry, it's not going to be done." I was like, "Oh, like what if it becomes true?" And then I scrambled and got the book done.
That's so funny. It became a self-fulfilling
It
prophecy.
did. It did, but luckily I buckled down, and everyone was on point too. Like of course, behind the scenes, helping with the bundle and stuff. Some years it's a little busier, and some years it's a little less. And while I'll admit I didn't, because of that, I didn't get to go into everyone's resource as much as I have in previous years.
Yeah.
Of course, I still did, but not quite as much. Um, but all in its place, right? I'm happy that I was able to show up and create that myth book and take part. And everyone's books and courses are so amazing in the bundle right now. So you know, it's like a well-oiled machine without any oil.
Yeah, yeah, so funny. Yeah. Yeah, I was, when we were talking about doing this topic, then I was wondering whether you used any virtual assistants or VA because there was one thing that I was considering using because like maybe to help, like you said, because I don't like editing videos and all that. So I kept going like, I should get, I should get someone to help me with making the videos or making the reels and all that. But it's something that I haven't really gotten around to doing. I know when I used to conduct demos and workshops and all that, I would have like at that time I would have like certain people that I would go to assist me.
Mhm.
But because of all the lockdowns and all that, and then like one got married, one moved over somewhere else,
Mhm.
another one, yeah, people all moved on with their different lives. Um, so yeah, I haven't. But I also wanted to ask you, like, uh, I I I feel like I'm not very good at managing people. I think that's why I
Mhm.
also was just asking you that question, like how do you deal with VAs and all that. Even like with my assistant, sometimes I feel like, oh, I don't know how to tell them things.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't yeah.
Yeah. Well, well, starting from the beginning, I don't, I mean, I have a tech that helps me with like the tech stuff on my
Mm,
website, and I've had a lot of people through email and Instagram approach me to like, make my reels or to take, reuse my old content and make reels. And I've been tempted at times, but then I've also shied away, whether it's due to like, feeling like it's maybe won't be my voice completely, or that
uh,
sometimes in those situations it ends up being more hassle than help because you spend time connecting and trying to figure it out, and then they make it and it's not exactly what you want, and then
yeah.
fine tuning and letting go of that has been something I haven't really gotten to yet.
Mm,
But it's interesting because like I've been in a lot of situations, as have you, I'm sure, like chefing, being in the kitchen, and
yeah.
like having sous chefs and people helping and stuff
Yeah.
like that. And
Yeah.
it's always to me just a collaboration, and just bouncing ideas back and forth, while at the same time, if you're the director and you have something
Mm,
that is important to come across, well then just as kindly and simply putting it across, and if needed repeating it, and if people have questions, answering questions, and also clarity, clarity, like having things
mm,
that are really important very easily accessible and written and repeated, and also just being really patient because not everyone reads everything, and and
Yeah.
sometimes when you think something's clear, it actually isn't. That's a life lesson I've
Yeah.
learned 100 times over, like,
Yes.
and I'll probably continue learning, but
Yes.
I would like to outsource a little bit more, to be honest.
Yeah.
Especially with repurposing older content, because like I've been putting content out since 2011, so I have a lot of content that
Mm.
could be repurposed to bring people to other stuff I've already put out.
Yeah.
I just haven't found the person that just feels like a good fit, because a lot of times, unfortunately, and this could sound bad, people that reach out to me, they maybe have no social media presence, or they're from another
Yeah.
country and there might be a language barrier. And,
Yeah.
I usually ask, like, hey, do you have like a website, or do you have like a Fiverr or a LinkedIn profile that I can at the very least see that they're a real person and they have some longevity behind them? Because
Yeah.
I look at
Yeah.
it like this is my baby, and I don't want
Yeah.
to, risk at any level somebody either making it seem authentic, not authentic, or, there are people that possibly could try and hack or ruin things for you. So, but
Yeah. I didn't think about that part as well.
yeah, because some people,
Yes.
they want like, oh, like I just need your sign-ins for YouTube or for your website. And there are ways, of course, to limit the ability for them to do things, just to be able to
Mm.
change certain little things. But even
Yeah.
still, like I put my time at an extreme premium, and when
Mm.
I do my work, I want to like do this, and I don't want to be redoing someone else's stuff if they mess up other things, if you get what I mean.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. But
I do understand in the terms of growth, like what we're talking about
yeah.
here, letting
Yeah.
go and finding somebody that is all you align with can be incredibly helpful. And I have outsourced certain things, and that's been a
Mm.
game changer. Just not content related, more kind of tech related is what I've outsourced, which helps a lot with growth.
Mm. Mm. Yeah, yeah. Like they said, if you want to scale your business,
Yeah.
you need to hire and delegate.
Yeah, and I mean sometimes it's really apparent. Like I won't say names, but like I've seen in the raw food movement, sometimes all of a sudden it's like, is the person who like is this profile, is this even that person? Like it's just like, it just becomes like multiple times a day blasting stuff that seems totally unrelated and outside of their personality from what you know. And I would really love to avoid that. Like if I got some help, I'd rather it be a little less, but more authentic and tailored to what I've actually created.
Right, right. Now I've been like, I keep spotting. I'm like, oh, this was written by AI. Oh, this was written
Mhm.
by AI. Oh,
And AI is helpful. I mean, I use AI a bunch, especially for like video stuff. Like if
yeah.
if we do this interview for this interview, for example,
Mm,
I'll definitely take this and put it up on YouTube as well, and on my website eventually here in the next couple of days. And I'll get the transcript from YouTube, and then I'll put that into AI and say like, hey, make a simple blog post based on this
mm,
transcript, and like that's
mm,
really helpful. Or even writing books and stuff, like I'll write down all my ideas
mm.
and the stuff I really want to get across, and then ask AI to improve. If there's anything I'm missing. That I didn't think of, or if I write something, improve the sentence structure.
Yeah,
Like to me, as long as it's a creative
yeah,
tool rather than just something that takes over and is the creation, I
yeah.
think that's a different story.
Yeah, yeah, I totally get what you mean because like I use AI to spark creative ideas or like
Yeah,
like sometimes just how if I want to or just even things like how do I write this YouTube title, right? So I
yeah,
ask for ideas and then I take that and then I um I work on it even more so that to make it my own and all that. It's just that sometimes what's interesting, not what is it's like it's. I think this is a discussion that I have with my boyfriend as well because we studied copywriting and we took copywriting courses, so
hmm,
we're more aware about how people write and all that. And we're always like, oh my god, this whole thing was written by AI. That's when you're
yeah,
going like,
yeah,
you
yeah.
know, if you use it as a tool to, I think what he calls it, he calls it like, oh, it's your free intern, you know.
Well, that's exactly it. That
Yeah,
is the free or the least expensive VA you could possibly
yeah,
get, and can
yeah.
be really leveraged to make things super helpful. But at the same time,
Mm,
it can become obvious and less attractive, and possibly inhibit your growth a little bit if it just comes across as completely AI. Of course, you want to have your
yeah.
own flavor, your own spin. What Watermelon Lime here is saying, she used to do content writing for a website, but AI took her job.
I
That's in a lot of creative writing. I think that's becoming the case.
yeah, because I'm wondering, like, I think people in general, they're not aware. Did I tell you about this? Because I remember I was talking to somebody, um, restaurant owner, and he had this ad running, and I was like, hey, I saw your ad and all that, and then I said, like, was your copy written by AI? Because to me it sounded really like an AI thing. He's like, no, 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 my team wrote it, and then I was like, I think his team used AI to write it because I know all these phrases because I always use it. And I always see all these phrases which I always avoid and take it out
Yeah.
so it doesn't sound so much like it. Or sometimes if it's for something that you don't like, it's just like something you want something quick and easy and put it out, and you don't, it's not like super duper important, then I think it's okay, so but yeah, I think people in general they don't even notice it, like the man on the street, they
No,
wouldn't
yeah, I guess
even.
it's just because if you've used it and you start to see
Mm.
the patterns and stuff, then it
Yeah,
starts
yeah,
to
yeah, yeah.
jump out a whole bunch more. Absolutely,
It'll be
absolutely.
always be like, this course is not just about Chinese takeout, it's a celebration of da 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 da.
Yeah, yeah, you can.
It's not just about this. It's like this is it. They always use that phrase
Yeah,
over and over
yeah,
again.
and then conclusion.
But I like
Oh,
that emojis trick that you were telling me about, because like I want to add emojis to my text,
oh
right?
yeah.
So I write my own copy, but so then I just get AI to like add the emojis. Then I don't have to like, oh, should I look
No,
for this flower
I,
emoji? Like, oh, do I look for this fortune cookie? They put it here. Oh, so
I've
that's
been fighting a
faster.
little bit. I've been fighting a little bit with AI, and it's kind of funny because I mean, for so long, like doing social media, like you create your own style, right? And so,
Yeah,
like, I love using emojis, specifically on Instagram. I don't use it as much in other places, but on
yeah.
Instagram, I just love emojis. And so I take that, like something I've normally written, and then put it in there and say, like, this is my style, like keep it like
Yeah.
this. But the funny thing is, just in this last week, because like, I'll come up with a post, and then I'll ask like, hey, like, make this better, add viral hashtags, and
Yeah.
and include emojis, and then
Mm.
it'll pump it out, but there'll be no emojis, and I'll be like, what's wrong with you? Please add the emojis, and then he'll do it again, and there'll be like two emojis, and I'll be like, why aren't you listening? Please, more emojis, and
Yeah.
it's kind of like the meme. It's like more emojis, and it's like, no, that's too much. That's too much.
It's teasing
It
you.
is.
It's like it's
It is.
like I need to be paid. Don't use me as my unpaid worker.
Yeah. That might be it. That might be it. Because I do have a free account with Perplexity, but I use ChatGPT a little more. But I don't pay for it. So maybe it's just like trying to make it less good for me so that I'm enticed to pay those crazy models, trying to make us pay more.
Yeah, everybody's trying to run a business.
It's true. That is true. That is true. Well, you know what, Ian, I can't believe it. We've actually been chatting for an hour. It feels like a lot less. These are always fun chats. But on this topic again, kind of pinning that down, is there anything
Mm.
else, somebody new to this that you'd recommend beside, or not that you'd recommend, but that you'd recommend to do besides, you know, as we've kind of went over, just one other maybe key tip that's been helpful for you.
Um, I don't know whether it's a tip, but I think I wanted to talk about something that has, like, I mean, just very very quickly, like something has been on my mind for the past week, because um yeah, I think about investing. I mean, two things: investing in yourself.
Hmm.
That's something I learned from Karen Nola as well. She said that every year she sets a bit of budget aside to invest in herself, to invest back in the business,
Hmm.
as in like, so I also always do that. I would buy courses, I will buy books, I'll buy ebooks on learning how to do something
Hmm.
related to the business, whether is it on the marketing side. That's why I say I took marketing courses, I took copywriting courses, I took for the longest time, I think like at one time every year I will at least try and take a cooking course somewhere,
Hmm.
or when I'm traveling I take a master class with one of the chefs and all that.
Hmm.
But recently I realized, like, oh, I also should look into investing in the financial side as well, not
Hmm.
just, yeah, because I was like, oh, I am getting older, and interesting because in Malaysia, the retirement age is actually, well, at one time it was 55. I don't know what it is right now.
Oh
I
wow.
know in the US it's like
Yeah.
65, but yeah, I think, I don't know whether it's pushed up to 57. And I'm like 52. And,
Hmm.
and so the past week I was just like, oh my God, like, do I have enough money to retire? You know,
Yeah.
like, yeah. So
Yeah.
maybe that's something that they want to think about long term because I started looking at investing. I was like, oh, I should have invested like way earlier, you know, and set aside some money, maybe every from whatever from your business you make, yeah, set aside and do some investing in it so that the power of compounding interest will help.
Absolutely.
Um,
And it puts
yeah,
less pressure on you too, because
yeah,
if you feel like your future is assured, then you're less likely to burn out, and your creative fires may burn even brighter.
yeah, yeah. Because you don't want to be like, I mean, unless you really enjoy your work. Because I know like some of the our plant-based doctors and all that, they really like they really enjoy it and they're still working. But to me,
Yeah.
I was just like, I don't still want to be like trying to meet a bundle deadline when I'm
Yeah. Yeah. I
yeah
understand. I understand. Yeah. No,
yeah
it's funny. Like I love what I do, and I always want to do it. But for me, I think sometimes the challenge is the feeling like I should be more consistent, or I should post like all the time, and like for me, that's really hard to do. So like I feel the same like with retirement to me would be like money isn't even an equation in it. I don't even think about the growth necessarily. It's just authentically putting out what I want when I want. That's what
mm,
retirement looks like to me.
mm,
And it's not really necessarily the best for business growth, but for personal
yeah
growth, which I think is important as well. I
mm,
think that's a big part.
yeah
Yeah.
yeah
But then
yeah
that also can come back to VAs and hiring stuff out a little bit more, and focusing on things you absolutely love, and making sure the other stuff gets done just by somebody maybe who can do it more efficiently and cause less mental strain. That could be a good growth tip too,
mm,
for sure.
yeah yeah balance in everything.
Balance and everything. Well, Ian, this has been an awesome talk again, and thank you so much
Thank you.
for poking me about it a little bit too, because I was kind of behind the scenes letting you know, like I kind of feel a little bit like I've been lazier lately, and I don't feel like this isn't the topic that I feel like I can bring to the table, but I think it's been a really good rounded topic, and covers a
Yeah.
lot of bases, and that it's not necessarily always only about business growth, but about personal, and
Mm,
making sure you find your own balance, and that we're very lucky in these days. We have a lot of opportunity to grow, and ways to help ourselves and support ourselves and support each other. And on that, I'm just again so blessed that you're a part, and that we're all supporting each other and growing this movement. And I listen. I really did put this together with the intention of growing the community, and helping people who want to make a living with raw food to be able to more actively do that. So
yeah,
so
it's
blessed.
been so good. I told Lisa today, I said, I feel like the bundle has like really changed my life, like I've made so many beautiful connections. I've made more money. And also I think I feel like I don't feel isolated because for a very long time I felt really, really isolated because, I was trying to go out like I was trying to meet all the raw chefs here in Malaysia, but like all the raw ones I know are no longer raw anymore. And
Yeah.
then like when I would travel to Singapore, I would try to meet up with all the Singaporeans, yeah, and all that. So now it's just like nice that we have this community and it's growing and yeah, and that we're all supporting each other. So thank
Absolutely.
you.
Absolute pleasure, and mirrored right back. Absolutely. So, where can everyone find you if they want to find your courses and everything else? And I mean, of course, lastly, I'll just again say Ultimate Raw Vegan Bundle. You're going to want to check it out. We're both a part of it with Ian's brand new course, Chinese Takeout, My Raw Truths, and 32 amazing resources worth $1,390 plus for only $50, but only until the 11th at midnight PST. But where else can we find you?
Um, I'm actually very active on Instagram and Facebook. Raw Chef Yin. My YouTube is also Raw Chef
Yeah.
Yin. My website is rawchefyin.com, which is totally not updated at all whatsoever.
You you could just redirect it right to your Gumroad, so that you could still say that Raw Chef Yin, and then it just directly points to your Gumroad, so that you never have to think about that. because it's easier to remember than the Gumroad URL.
Yeah, the Gumroad one is rawchefyin.gumroad.com.
Yeah, which isn't
But
hard either. But
yeah,
yeah,
but people would find it difficult. I think they'll be like, "Oh, what's that?" Oh.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, the
So,
longer
so
things are, that all of a sudden the mind stops. It's like, stop, nope.
yeah,
Yeah. Well, thank you
yeah.
again so much. Do you have any other fun lives coming up today or anything else?
No, today is the last one because it's already like 8:10 p.m.
Okay.
Yeah, yours is the third one already. Tomorrow morning I'm doing one with morning my time. I'm doing one with Jennifer Diamond, and then so that's like 9 in the morning my time. I think 6 p.m. her time PST, and then I'm doing one with Kiko.
Oh, nice. She's here today. Hello.
Yeah, the same time that I'm doing it with you as well. So that'll be really cool. We're talking about like being raw vegan in Asia. So I think that'll be a really cool
That'll be very
topic.
fun for sure. Well, everyone
Yeah.
should check that out. I got a live in 2 hours where I'm going to do a walk and talk, ask me anything, raw myths, covered in the book,
Oh,
not covered in the book.
nice.
So that'll be a lot of fun. But in that mind, I just want to thank you again, Yin, and for all the behind the scenes as well. You've always been very, very helpful, and it's just great to be able to connect with you more. And I'm excited to one day come out there as well, and hopefully we can. I would dream of a Chinese takeout potluck where everyone makes every dish of yours. That'd be amazing. So hopefully one day.
Yes, one day. I thought you were going to say we're going to have durians together.
Well, I want that as well.
As that.
Maybe durian for lunch and then the Chinese takeout for dinner. It'll be an all-day event that you prepare all of it for us. So thank you so much.
Of
Thank you.
course. Totally.
No, I'm teasing. Everyone helps. Everyone helps. Yeah.
Okay. Thanks so much, Chris. Thanks everyone for joining us as well. Even though I can't see your
Oh,
your comments.
Watermelon Lime said, "What did you eat for dinner?" And she also said, "Wow, that hour went by fast." I totally agree. I can't believe it.
I had mango and star fruit and longan
Okay.
and snake fruit. That's what I had for dinner.
I love salak. Oh.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. I think I wanted to say like, yeah, I just get it. It's from the neighborhood fruit store that's like a 10-15 minute walk away. So we pop by there all the time to get our fruit. Yeah, and it oh, and now there's a sugar cane stall very near that fruit stall as well. So we get freshly squeezed sugar cane as well.
That's so
Yeah.
good. I love sugar cane. Now,
Mm.
oh gosh, now I'm hungry. It's 2 o'clock and I haven't had breakfast yet. Time to make
Time
breakfast before
for
my walk and talk.
breakfast.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. Well, thank you again,
Bye.
Yin, and thanks
Thank
everyone who joined us
you.
here for this live, or if you're watching the replay. I hope you enjoyed it. And as always, wishing you much peace, love, and seasonal fruit.
Bye.
Bye-bye.